Well, Sonia, I met at a Foresight Nanotechnology for Longevity workshop a long, long time ago, 7 years, 6 years. Well, Sonia has been not only backing us, but also many, many of the organizations and projects that are here today. And so thank you so much for the service that you've done for the entire industry, much before it was cool, honestly. So thanks.
You're welcome. And thank you, Allison, for all the work that you do at the Foresight Institute and your team. I have been involved for a long time. I've been coming to Foresight events for 20 years, if you can believe that, since I was 10.
10, of course.
So I'm here to talk about the path to funding longevity. Look at this beautiful path, isn't it? Doesn't it look nice and relaxing? And you could just walk down this path and it would be so easy to get to the end where we all have extended health spans and less suffering. That's how we want it to be, but that's not exactly how it is. It's more like this, where there's roadblocks on the way and a troll waiting to jump on you. And actually, it's probably a lot darker than this, but I didn't want to depress anybody. So, it's not easy. Like I said, I've been involved in this area for a really long time. And, I have seen change, though. I have seen progress. And so I think that there is reason to be optimistic. So when you're thinking about the paths to funding longevity, the first thing people think about, like if you talk to the average educated person on the street, they're like, well, how does America fund aging biology research? They would say, oh, it must be the NIH. Yes, the NIH does fund aging biology. There it is, a little tiny bar, 400 million out of the $50 billion budget. Cancer gets 6.1 billion, Alzheimer's 3.2, heart disease 2.6, and the COVID obviously 4.9. So all the diseases of aging are getting way more than the root cause of aging. And I consider this a problem, and I think we've been hearing this message already today, that this is a problem. We need to focus on the root cause of all these other things, and then we'll be in a better place. So clearly there's a misallocation of resources right now. That needs to change. And so what I have been doing in order to try to make that change is I got involved with this group, the Alliance for Longevity Initiatives. It's a 501c4 that lobbies the government and basically educates Congress people and people who are making the decisions about where this money goes in terms of, look, there's something else you should be focusing on. I mean, I know you know cancer patients and I know you know Alzheimer's patients, but what you need to know about those patients is that their disease came from a different root cause and we need to be focusing on that. And so that's how we're trying to change the dialogue in DC. And we've been around for 2 years and we've already had a huge amount of success. It's been incredible because I think people inherently know that what we're doing isn't working. I mean, when was a war on cancer declared, right? During Nixon. I mean, that's ridiculous. And how far have we gotten? And so we do need to change our strategy. And so Dylan, I put Dylan's photo up here. I don't think he's here yet. I think he's running a little bit late, but he's, I think, doing office hours sometime during, is it tomorrow? Oh, it's today. So you should go find him if you're interested in figuring out how you can help us change the dialogue in DC. We're looking for volunteers. We're looking for funding. We're looking for all sorts of kind of help. And we have a really good chance to affect change, particularly starting this January with a new administration coming in, because there's an appetite for change. And indeed, one of the members of this community, Jim O'Neill, who usually is here every year, but I haven't seen him yet today, he was just been appointed Deputy Director of Health and Human Services. So this is a good thing for us. We can have a lot of effective things happen starting in January. So we're very, very excited about the future from that perspective. And maybe we can change that misallocation of resources, which would be great for everybody. So another path to funding longevity is private nonprofit organizations. The impetus grants, I think, is sort of, for me, they're kind of a big star in this field. Martin Borsch Jensen, who usually also shows up at this, but I haven't seen him yet today, was a big part of getting these things started. They've deployed $34 million already for aging science and clinical trials, which is just really incredible. It's a great job. And then lots of other organizations are in this field. Including Foresight. And hopefully Foresight will have an even bigger role in the future as we continue to raise money for the endowment. And then a third way to fund the path to longevity is through venture capital. And this is my ecosystem. So I started 100 Plus Capital 7 years ago or so. And that's my fund where I make angel investments in longevity companies. And then Portfolia is another investment firm that I'm involved with, where we also invest in longevity companies. It's a bigger firm, seed through Series B investments. I'm on a team of 5, and so I have to convince 4 other people that my ideas are good, right, when I bring a company in, which is good because it gets vetted even more than I'm vetting it at the angel stage. And then Felicis Ventures is a huge firm on Sand Hill Road. I'm an advisor with them, and they invest in all stages of companies in many different fields, but including longevity biotech. And indeed, well, actually, let's just look at the venture capital investments in longevity. So here's a snapshot of what's happened over the last decade or so, right? So back in 2013, there wasn't that much investment, although still bigger than the NIH. And it's been growing over time. You can see there's an outlier in 2021. That was the $3 billion for Altos Labs for the cellular reprogramming stuff that they're doing, which hopefully that works out. I'm cheering for them. And anybody else who's working in that field. But you can see that it's come a long way, right? And I got involved around 2018, where you can see that there's kind of that big jump right there. And that, to me, that's when the field really became investable, because there was a lot of research going on, but it was really hard to translate it into, is this a business, right? Because venture capital doesn't get involved until it's actually a business. But good news is there are actually lots of longevity companies that are businesses now. And all the big names that you've heard of have made at least a few bets in this field, which is fantastic. And I think Carl is actually going to speak more later about the various companies that are around, and there's reason to be optimistic. Whew, 1 minute. Oh my God, I better hurry up. Okay, so I have advice for you. If you are out there and you have a longevity company you want to start and you want to talk to venture capitalists, make sure your business is actually a business. Do you have customers? Is there a market, right? Can you grow this thing and make money? It can't be a research project. It has to be business. Know your strengths and weaknesses. The skills for a scientist are very different from the skills from a CEO. And sometimes they're in the same person, but oftentimes they're not. Talk to as many people as possible, as many knowledgeable people as possible. Somebody once joked that 99% of life is just showing up. And I think that's true with a caveat. You got to show up to the right places. This is one of the right places, by the way, so good job. Rule number 4, be disciplined. Keep your eye on the ball. Don't get distracted with petty politics. Don't get distracted by trying to do too much. You really got to focus. Success does come from an obsession with excellence. And then rule number 5 is Allison's rule. You need to have fun. This idea of the lone founder who's just like clicking away in his basement, that's a myth, and it's not going to make you happy. It's not going to be good for your longevity. You need to surround yourself with people who make you happy and who are supporting you in the mission, in the thing that you care about. And that's it. Hopefully I'm in time. Thank you again, Foresight.
Woo! Thank you. Questions, comments, requests?
Just a simple question, like what's an investment that you made recently that you're really excited about?
My most recent investment that I'm very excited about is automated lab investment, which is actually, it's ironic that I'm speaking about it here, because last year I was here on a panel and somebody had asked the question of like, what kind of businesses are you looking for? And I said, I would like to find an automated lab company, because it's ridiculous that people are still in the lab with the same way they were in the 1950s doing science. Really? I mean, we've been to the moon and we can't figure out how to like make the lab more efficient. And then somebody else on the panel said, oh, that's never going to work. It's never going to work. And I actually found the company that I invested in through this conference. Somebody had said, oh, I know somebody. You should talk to this person. Again, this is all about showing up. That person put me in touch with another person who put me in touch with the company I invested in. So it was like a three-pronged thing. But I'm very excited about them, because not only are they automating lab work, but they're integrating an AI scientist into it. So there's going to be an AI helping make decisions about what the next step in the research should be, which I think is incredible. Yeah, they're out of stealth. Tetuan.
Hi, Omri from NFX. A quick comment. We just had NFX Fast for longevity, $1 to $3 million checks. While it's closed on December 4th, I'm here. So if you talk to me today, I'll give you an exception. We'll give you feedback in 5 days, money in the bank in less than 2 weeks.
Any updates like this, also put them in the WhatsApp. That's what it's there for. Thank you so much, Sonia. Awesome.
Thanks.